Hi guys, welcome back to another tutorial. Today we are going to be learning how to do a scallop stitch. Sometimes it's called a closed shell stitch. It's got a few variations of its name, but essentially this is what it looks like. So you get these kind of V-shaped curved pattern. I've done a little swatch here in two colours so you can kind of start to see how it looks once you start to build a few rows in. And it looks way more complicated than it is. It's a pretty simple stitch, it's really easy. And yeah, so that's what we're going to be learning. So what we're going to need is our yarn. Now I'm using a 3.5mm hook today, but you can use whatever is suitable for the yarn that you have to hand. So we're going to start by making a slip knot. And then we pop our hook into the loop and tighten it up. Now, the way the scallop stitch is made is your foundation row, so your chains, needs to be in multiples of 6 plus 1. Okay, so that could be 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, however many, but then you always need to add 1 on the end, and I'll show you why. And it always needs to be a multiple of 6. That's a that's a rule that needs to be followed for it to work. So what we're going to do, just to practice this, is we're going to chain 18. So to do that, take our hook and our yarn over and pull the yarn through the loop on the hook. Okay, so that's chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's our first multiple of 6, and we're going to do 18, remember. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, so that's our multiple of 6, that's our 18. And now we need to chain 1 more. And we can begin working our scallop stitch. So, first of all, we're going to ignore this first chain from the hook. That was our extra chain 1. We're going to ignore that. And we're going to work in the second chain from the hook. We're going to pop our hook in. And we're going to do a single crochet. Okay, so that's in US terminology. If you're using UK terminology, it would be a double crochet. So we've popped our hook through the hole, then we catch the yarn, put it through that first loop on the hook, so we're left with 2, and then we yarn over again and pull through both loops on the hook to make a single crochet. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our next stitch. So we're going to ignore the next 2 chains, and we're going to work into the third one along from our current stitch, and we're going to do a double crochet. Now that's in US terminology. If you're using UK terminology, that would be a treble. So to do that, we're going to yarn over, pop our hook into the hole. So there's 3 loops on our hook. We're then going to catch the yarn, put it through the first loop, and then we yarn over once and yarn over twice. Okay, so we're going to do that again. So we've now got 2 double crochets in our chain stitch. We need 5 in total to make one of these little shapes. Okay, so I'm going to do 3 more into that same hole. Okay, and that is our first scallop stitch. So you can start to see the shape taking place and coming together. So what we're going to do now is we're going to ignore the next 2 chains from our stitch. So 1, 2, we're going to work into that third one along, and we're going to do a single crochet. Okay. And then we're going to move on to our next scallop stitch. So again, same process. We're going to ignore the next 2 chains along, working into the third. We're going to yarn over and do 5 double crochets into that same hole. that's our second scallop stitch. So same again, we're going to ignore the next 2 chains along, so 1, 2, and we're going to work into the third chain from our hook. And we're going to do, oh, I shouldn't have yarned over, so we're going to do a single crochet. Okay, and now we've got 3 chains left, and what we're going to do there to finish off is we're going to ignore those next 2 as we have been doing the whole way along, so 1, 2, and then into the third we're going to do 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3. And that is our first row complete. So another rule that we need to remember when we're doing a scallop stitch is you either need to begin or end your row always with either a single crochet or with the half scallop stitch. So you've done 3 doubles, okay? And that basically allows you to keep things nice and flat both sides. So it means things will always be even, and you'll have this nice sort of straight edge, and you won't have sort of lumpy shapes poking out. We're not increasing today, so we're just keeping it as it is. So we get some more yarn out. That is our first proper row completed. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to our second row. So we're beginning at the top of our half scallop, so the 3 double crochet. So what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1, we're going to turn our work, and into that first stitch there, so the top of that last double crochet, we're just going to do 1 single crochet. Okay, so now what we want to do is you always want to work your scallop stitch into that single crochet of the previous round. So you can see here we've got a scallop and a single crochet and then a scallop. So into the single crochet that we've got here, we're going to do our 5 double crochets. And now we're going to single crochet into the top of our scallop stitch. So you can see it's made up of 5 double crochets, and we are going to single crochet into the third one along. So 1, 2, 3. So we're going to pop our hook in there, single crochet, and then we're back working into the single crochet from the previous round. So we're going to do our 5 double crochets in there. And then again, repeating the same process, we're going to single crochet in our 3rd double crochet along from our previous scallop. And then we're going to work into this very end stitch here, and we're going to do our half scallop. So we're going to do those 3 double crochet to make sure we end on a nice flat. So 3 doubles, that very last stitch. And that is basically it. So it's that same process the whole way along. So you've got your, you start with your chain 1 single crochet, and then we do our 5 double crochets in the single crochet from the previous round, and then we single crochet into the top of our previous scallop, and then we do our 5 double crochets, our scallop, into the single crochet from the previous row, and then we continue on like that until we get to the very end where we finish with our half scallop, so our 3 double crochets to make sure that our edges are nice and flat. I hope that was helpful for you today and you have learned something kind of useful. If you think so, then it would be really great if you could leave a little like and subscribe for my channel. It helps me out a lot. And I also have an Instagram if you want to share with me anything that you've made or learned. I always love to see it. So thank you very much. Have a lovely day.